A quiet street can sometimes hide the heaviest storms in a man's life. A storm where a soldier once trained to survive war is now fighting something even harder. Life. Larry West once served as a Marine. Now he serves silence. And exhaustion. And a small apartment that barely holds together like his life. Every night he wonders how things fell this far. Every morning, he wakes up anyway. But on one unexpected day, everything shifts. A luxury car stops where it should never stop. A woman steps out. And two frightened boys follow behind her like they are running from something unseen. She looks at Larry like she already knows him. But he has never seen her before in his life. And what she says next shakes everything he thought he understood about struggle and fate. Before we go deeper into this case, take a second and hit the subscribe button, give this video a like, and let us know where you're watching from. I'm curious to know how far these stories travel. Because in that moment, Larry had no idea why a CEO and her two sons had just walked into his broken world. And the truth behind it was something no one saw coming. Larry West wakes up before sunrise every day. Not because he wants to, but because he has to. His apartment is small and worn down. The paint is fading. The fridge is almost always empty. His son, Caleb, sleeps in the next room on a mattress that used to belong to someone else. Larry made sure his son never noticed how bad things really were. He used to be a Marine. Strong. Disciplined. Focused. But life after service was nothing like he imagined. Now he works small jobs when he can find them. Delivery shifts. Warehouse nights. Anything that pays fast. Most days he comes home tired. Not just in his body. In his spirit too. But when Caleb smiles, Larry remembers why he keeps going. Dinner is often simple. Too simple. But he always sits with his son like everything is normal. He never talks about how much rent is overdue. Or how many bills are stacked on the table. Some nights, he sits by the window after Caleb sleeps. Just staring outside. Thinking about choices. And chances he never got. Still, he refuses to break in front of his son. Because being a father is the only mission he has left. And even though the world feels heavy, he keeps moving. One step at a time. But deep down, he knows something has to change soon. Or everything will collapse. Before we continue, take a second and share your thoughts so far on this story below. I read every single one. Because Larry doesn't know it yet, but his quiet struggle is about to collide with someone whose world is falling apart in a completely different way. It happens on a cold afternoon. Larry is between jobs, picking up a small delivery shift near the edge of the city. That is when he sees them. A black car stops suddenly. Too suddenly. The back door opens and a woman steps out fast. She looks controlled, but her hands are shaking. This is Doris Brown. A powerful CEO. A woman used to commanding rooms. But not this moment. Two boys follow her out. Russell, the older one, looks tense and alert. Reginald, the younger one, stays close to her side. Something is wrong. Very wrong. Doris looks around like she is being followed. Her voice is low when she speaks. I need help, she says quickly. Larry does not understand why she came to him. He is just a man in worn clothes holding a delivery bag. But before he can respond, Reginald suddenly grabs his mother's hand tighter. His eyes are filled with fear. Russell steps forward. Suspicious. Protective. You don't know him, Russell says to his mother. The tension rises fast. People nearby start watching. Whispers begin. A CEO asking help from a stranger in a parking lot does not make sense. Doris ignores the attention. Her eyes stay locked on Larry. And then she says something that changes everything. I don't have time to explain, she says. But you are the only one who can help my sons right now. Larry feels the weight of her words. But he also feels the eyes of strangers judging him. And in that moment, he realizes this is no ordinary request. Something dangerous is closing in. And he is already standing inside it. But he still does not know why. Larry agrees to listen. Not because he understands, but because he sees fear in the children's eyes. Doris leads them to a quieter place. Her voice breaks slightly for the first time. Someone has been targeting her family. Not in public. Not loudly. But quietly. Too quietly. Security failed earlier that day, and she had nowhere else to go. Russell refuses to trust Larry. He watches every movement like a guard dog. Reginald, however, stays close to Larry. Almost instinctively. Larry tries to stay calm. But inside, he is overwhelmed. He is not trained for this kind of situation anymore. Not like before. And now he is responsible for strangers who carry a dangerous secret. Doris receives a call. Her face changes instantly. "They found us," she whispers. Everything tightens. Larry looks around. Instinct returns. Marine instinct. He moves the boys behind cover without thinking. Russell notices. For the first time, he hesitates. But the danger never fully appears. Only pressure. Only fear. Doris looks at Larry differently now. Like she is realizing something she missed. But before anything can be understood, another message arrives. They are not safe where they are. They must move again. And Larry realizes this situation is far bigger than he was told. But when he turns to leave, he notices something that stops him cold. Someone is watching them from across the street. And they are not alone. Larry reacts instantly. He moves the group into a safer direction. No hesitation. No fear. Only instinct. They reach an old public building nearby. Doris is breathing heavily now. The pressure is breaking through her control. Russell is still guarded, but less certain. Reginald finally speaks. "I don't want to run anymore," he says quietly. That breaks something in Doris. She looks at Larry. Really looks at him. And then she asks the question she avoided since they met. "Why did you help us?" Larry pauses. "Because there is no easy answer." Finally, he says. "Because I know what it feels like to have nowhere safe to stand." Silence fills the room. Something shifts. Russell lowers his guard slightly. Just enough to notice Larry is not a threat. Doris exhales. For the first time all day, she feels like she can breathe. But the danger is not gone. It is still close. And now Larry is no longer just helping. He is involved. Deeply. And what comes next will decide everything. Hours pass before things settle. Doris confirms the immediate danger has moved away. But nothing feels normal anymore. Larry prepares to leave quietly. He believes his part is over. But Doris stops him. "You didn't just help us," she says. "You protected my sons when I couldn't." Russell looks down. No longer hostile. Reginald steps forward and hugs Larry without hesitation. Larry freezes. Then slowly returns the gesture. Something inside him shifts. For a long time, he thought he was just surviving. Now he realizes he still has purpose. Doris offers help. Not as charity, but as gratitude. Larry hesitates. But this time, he does not refuse immediately. Because for the first time in years, he sees a door instead of a wall. And maybe, just maybe, life is not done with him yet. Larry West did not plan to become part of someone else's crisis. He was only trying to survive his own. But life has a strange way of connecting broken people at the exact moment they need it most. A Marine who thought his strength had faded discovered it was still there. A CEO who thought she was alone discovered she was not. And two boys learn that trust sometimes comes from the most unexpected places. Struggle does not always look loud. Sometimes it looks like silence in a small apartment. Sometimes it looks like fear behind a perfect smile. But even in those places, something can change. Hope does not arrive with noise. It arrives with moments. With people. With decisions that seem small at first. Before we close this story, take a moment and reflect on Larry's journey. A man who had almost nothing left still chose to stand when it mattered. If this story touched you, take a second and like the video. It truly helps the channel grow and reach more people who need these stories. If you are a single parent watching this, share your experience in the comments. Your story matters more than you think. And if you believe in stories like this, subscribe to the Redeemed Single Dad for more emotional journeys that remind us that life is never truly finished for anyone. Because sometimes, the lowest point in life is not the end. It is the beginning of something you never expected. And Larry West is living proof of that.